Let's bring in Michael Vick, who joins us now. How do you think you would do in that NIL world there, Mike?
Morning, Dan. That's a great segue into this interview. It really got my brain racing thinking about it. Yeah, I would have been one of the top tier guys to get paid from NIL, hands down, north of $1 million.
Oh,
But
that would have been your starting salary.
What's that?
That would have been your starting negotiating point is $1 million. You'd be worth a lot more than $1 million.
Yeah, I think. Hey, look, I was about to come back to school just to be with my teammates because I miss them so much. So I can only imagine if $100,000 or $500,000 was at my discretion through NIL. Oh, I would have came back to school I would have definitely gave Virginia Tech a discount for sure.
Do you remember, I think, 5 years younger than Allen Iverson? Is that?
5 years, yeah, 4 years younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember him playing football in the Virginia Beach area? Because he was a pretty good quarterback by all accounts.
Yeah, I do. I remember not so vividly because he was a little older. I remember him going against my cousin Aaron Brooks. I think Aaron's sophomore year because I don't think Allen played his junior year and senior year. So I caught him early, but I really wasn't paying attention to him as much as I was paying attention to Aaron. But I did see that he had the potential to become a good football player, really good football player if that's what he wanted.
You think he could have played in the NFL?
Yes, I do think he could have played in the NFL. Quarterback, I don't know. It depends on, how committed he would have been. But, if he's a point guard, same responsibilities. But, probably in his time, he might have been a little bit before his time. He might have got switched to a different position because he was so athletic. And but if he would have stayed at the quarterback position, I think he would have had a chance at playing in the NFL if he would have, took it serious.
So Michael Vick joining us, 4-time Pro Bowl, number 1 overall pick by the Falcons, and Fox NFL analyst, recently named to Madden's 25th anniversary team. How would you compare your running style to Barry Sanders?
The exact same running style. Barry was one of the guys I idolized growing up. I don't think I missed the Thanksgiving when it was Detroit and Green Bay playing on national television as long as I was able to turn that dial on my TV and get the TV to come in with a clear picture growing up. Sometimes you had cable, sometimes you didn't. But, for the most part, it was always on regular TV, and I was able to catch Barry, and I idolized him. So, Barry and Walter Payton was my 2 favorite runners of all time. And so I wanted to be a running back. I actually started out as a running back.
But could you have been an NFL running back in your mind, like an every down back?
Yeah, for sure. I think I had the stature for it. Being 6 feet, 215 pounds, I'd have been considered a big back, but explosive. I think my biggest challenge would have been taking on linebackers, and, and having to protect because, that becomes paramount as a running back, especially as you come in young. And as you mature, I put a lot of responsibilities on the guys that I played with, Ward Dunn, LaShawn McCoy, in terms of, the passing game and understanding protections. Because if a running back don't know who to block, you'll get hit every down. So I think, learning that part of it would have been a challenge, but I think I would have been able to be a really good running back if I'd have stuck to it.
Who was the most talented quarterback of all time?
I would say the most talented. I'm always put Peyton Manning at the top of the list because Peyton was just phenomenal. And even when you're talking about athletes, Peyton might not have moved around, but the way he threw the football with accuracy, I think, only certain guys can do that. Only a handful of guys came through that could make the throws and, to have the competence that he had at the quarterback position. But I think most athletic and, when you bottle everybody, you think about everybody's talents. I think you got to go with Charlie Ward. I just seen the legend of Charlie Ward a couple days ago, and I just watching him. Um, even though he was a little small in stature, he played really big, and so I think the things that he was able to do, I think makes him one of the most gifted quarterback to ever line up behind center, next to me.
Oh,
Next
of
to me.
course, of course. I might
Next
put
to me.
Randall Cunningham in there as far as talent
Yeah,
goes.
I put Randall in there, but I mean, I would have to put myself at the top of that list. And there's been some great quarterbacks to come and go. And don't get me wrong, these guys were extremely talented. But um, like I said, I played running back. That was merged into becoming a quarterback. Steve Young was my favorite quarterback growing up, and Barry Sanders was one of my favorite running backs. So you close your eyes and you merge that together and picture that behind the center, you get me. And I was able to put that on display. So I would say I would put me in at the top of that list as well.
Okay, but then looking back on that, most talented quarterback of all time, but you didn't get everything that you needed to get. Like, if there was one
Yeah.
thing that you go, if I only would have done that,
Yeah.
I would have gotten the most out of my potential.
I think if I would have took the onus of calling my own plays or just being ahead of, especially early in my career. When I think back on my career, I look and feel like, there were times where I could have helped my coordinator out even more. I think if I would have spent more time on Tuesdays when the coaches are game planning and putting it all together and trying to figure out how to beat the opponent and what it's going to take for our guys to be successful versus, the opposition that week. If I would have spent a little time on Tuesdays with the coaches, and I've heard stories about other quarterbacks doing this, Drew Brees and John Elway, and Dan Reeves told me John used to come in on Tuesdays and just kind of sit in and just listen to the game plan. And so if I'd have been more involved in that part, I think I progressed quicker as a passer, regardless if I was a super athletic, talented quarterback in the West Coast system in 2004. I mean, I made the Pro Bowl. I made it work. We went to an NFC Championship game. Imagine if I'd have just put a little bit more into it.
Yeah.
That's Super Bowl and beyond. So no excuses. I wish I could, for those reasons, go back in time and change some of those things.
Talking to Michael Vick, he's named to the Madden 25th anniversary team. Do you have a better understanding of who Dak Prescott is right now or the Dallas Cowboys are right now?
Well, I feel like I've seen Dak enough to know that, Dak performs in big moments and he understands, what it takes to be successful in this league. You don't make it to 8 years, being mediocre or being pedestrian. I feel like I know exactly what the Dallas Cowboys are right now. When you look at them offensively, they're starting to gel, getting better. Mike McCarthy is the play caller. And I said this early in the year, you got to be patient with situations like this because a lot of people was quick to write off Dallas and, it wasn't playing competition. And, I don't listen to that. That's fluff to me because the National Football League, it's just so hard to win on a weekend and week out basis. So the offense is gelling, and you see they're scoring points at a high rate, and then you got a defense that's performing with high level players, and you got guys stepping up and doing their job, all across the board, from front to back. So I feel like I know more about the Cowboys. I feel like they can compete with Philadelphia, and they can compete with San Fran now. Just got to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, but there's certain teams, though, Mike, that we go, I don't care what you do during the regular season. Show me in January.
Yeah.
And Dallas is a team that we say, show me in January. And I don't have any confidence in them. It's 30 years where they just somehow fail.
Yeah. Dan, that's fair. That's a fair assessment to say, the regular season can be somewhat irrelevant. I think the regular season is just it's practice reps. It's competition. It gets you ready for the postseason, which is most important. And there are some teams where we say, look, you've done a great job throughout okay, now it's time to take it one step further. And being honest, Dallas, they're one of those teams. And if you ask every single guy in the locker room, they'll probably tell you the same exact things that we're talking about now and discussing. The next step, the next level is where we got to excel, playoffs and beyond. And so, they would be doing themselves a disservice if they didn't believe that wholeheartedly. So I expect them to take that next step. After watching them last night, I'm excited about them facing the 49ers or facing Philadelphia because they'll probably face the 49ers first before Philadelphia. I think Philly will get that first round bye. So who knows how to be configured, but they'll have an opportunity.
Okay. Be honest. You're 43, I think. 43?
43.
Would you have been a better quarterback the last 3 weeks for the Jets than the situation that they have right now?
Yeah. I'm being honest. I mean, there were times over the last year and a half where I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to go down to this local field, put my ankle weights on and put my weighted vest on like I used to and get that mojo back and go help my squad out. But then, that's in the frontal lobe, but then, back here, I'm like, you know what? It's best to just play it safe and, you can continue to commentate and give your analysis on what you think should happen. But, for the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers is coming back. It's reason to be optimistic in the future. I just hate to see us go out there every week and, our defense giving it everything they got. And those guys get tired, man. They fatigue out. And,
yeah.
A lot of those games are lost in the third and fourth quarter, and you can only give so much. So, I wish they would have went and grabbed the Josh Dobbs, or I really think Carson Wentz would have been able to give him some instant offense. We kind of missed the boat on some guys, but hey, that's how it goes.
How many starting quarterbacks can outrun you right now?
Lamar, probably Jalen.
Kyler?
Patrick might give me a run for my money. Patrick got deceptive speed,
Okay.
Things that make it's probably about 6 or 7 guys that can outrun me.
Okay.
In the league right now. I take off running right now, and if I don't stretch, which is something I definitely didn't take serious when I played. I pulled a hamstring really, really quick. I pulled my hamstring doing Run Rich Run 2 years back to back, and I had to go on a hiatus for that. I was actually having a good time doing it in preparation.
Mike,
but it's about 5 or 6 guys out there. I'm probably the 6th fastest quarterback in the league right now.
It came too easy for you.
Oh, it did. Gift and a curse for sure.
Yeah.
Being optimistic every week, it's like I know, on a consistent basis, I'm gonna dominate. Like as long as I was ready mentally, I could go dominate. And so, sometimes I felt like I could have took that a step further in terms of preparation because, you can prepare, but you can never really be overly prepared. I think, you prepare and then you simplify. And that's just communication with your coaches and them being on the same page with your offensive coordinator, y'all understanding one another. It's like, coach, if all else fails, let's resort to this. And if all else fails, I run the 2-minute really well. And I seen that in Pittsburgh with Ben Roethlisberger. That was a great experience. Whenever things was a little rocky, it was a little turbulent, then Ben would just go no huddle and just, get a rhythm going and start calling the plays that he liked. And that's professionalism at its finest.
Yeah, yeah. If I put you and Deion and Bo Jackson in the 40, who wins it in your prime?
Man, those guys. Oh man, I think Deion wins.
Okay.
I think Deion wins, man. I take nothing away from Bo. Bo was explosive and powerful and strong lower body, and I had the same. But I did run a 4.25 twice. But Deion ran a 4.1. I can't see that, man. I gotta, he's the GOAT for a reason, at his position, and so I would give the edge to Deion Sanders.
I wonder about Tyreek Hill though. Like Tyreek Hill's got different speed.
Yeah, so Deion Sanders, Tyreek Hill, and Deshaun Jackson, I would pay to see that any day.
In their prime.
In their primes. Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
Hey, great to talk to you as always, and thanks for joining us, Michael.
Good to see you, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Michael Vick, Fox NFL kickoff analyst, 4-time Pro Bowler, and recently named to Madden's 25th anniversary team.